It is 11:45 p.m. The Class 12 Computer Science Board exam is tomorrow morning, and you are staring down a textbook the size of a cinder block, trying to absorb a year's worth of programming logic in a single night. Trying to read every page cover to cover right now is a guaranteed way to panic. The board does not invent an entirely new syllabus every year. They test the exact same core programming mechanics over and over. You only need to target the high-weightage, heavily repeated patterns that appear on nearly every past paper. Mastering these specific recurring patterns allows you to bypass the bulk of the syllabus. High scores depend on your ability to provide the examiner with the specific one-line keywords they are mandated to look for. The heaviest conceptual roadblock you will face is the Python programming section, specifically a concept called recursion. Recursion is a function calling itself repeatedly until a base condition is met. This specific rule tells the function exactly when to stop and return a value. Without it, the function spirals into an infinite loop, consuming memory until the program crashes completely. To secure the 5 marks on the highly expected factorial program, your code must demonstrate this loop mathematically. You achieve this by multiplying the current number, n, by the function itself, -1, writing the syntax exactly as return n times fact of n-1. Beyond recursion, the examiner will test your grasp on data types. The most common question asks you to distinguish a list from a tuple. The answer relies entirely on mutability. A list is mutable, meaning its data can be changed after creation, while a tuple is immutable and permanently locked. Understanding how loops flow and adhering to the strict rules of data manipulation guarantees the 5-mark coding points. Once you clear Python, the exam shifts into the second major tactical area, managing data through file handling and SQL databases. SQL, or Structured Query Language, is the standard tool used to communicate with these databases. In Python file handling, the most frequently tested definition is pickling. Pickling is the specific process of converting a Python object into a binary byte stream for secure storage. Over in the SQL section, the foundation of every database rests on the primary key. A primary key is the unique, non-repeating identifier required for every single record in a database. Examiners love to test your understanding of scale, specifically by asking for the difference between the delete and drop commands. Delete only removes specific rows of data within a table. Drop completely annihilates the entire table structure itself. SQL relies on absolute syntax precision. A perfectly constructed query will still lose marks if you forget the mandatory semicolon at the end of the statement. Full marks in the database section come from providing exact definitions and demonstrating the specific operational scale of every command. The final major section of the paper covers computer networks and cyber safety. This is a highly predictable zone where you can easily pick up free marks. You will almost certainly be asked to explain DNS, or the domain name system. DNS acts as the Internet's translator, converting a human-readable domain name into the numeric IP address that computers use to identify each other. On the cyber safety front, you need to recognize specific threat vectors like phishing. Phishing is a deceptive technique used to steal sensitive data by tricking users into clicking fraudulent links. They will also test your knowledge of basic acronyms. When asked for the expansion of URL, you must provide the exact phrase, Uniform Resource Locator. Firmly, this networking section rewards brevity. You claim these marks by providing exact one-line definitions and avoiding any unnecessary writing. It is now 5 minutes before you walk into the exam hall. You need to clear your mind and run through a final rapid-fire checklist of the highest yield concepts. Recursion is a function calling itself. Pickling converts objects to bytes. A primary key is a unique identifier, and DNS translates names to IP addresses. For data structures, remember the entry and exit rules. Stacks operate on LIFO, and queues operate on FIFO. LIFO stands for last in, first out, while FIFO stands for first in, first out. Anticipate the 3 questions that appear almost every year: calculating the output of a string length function, stating the mutability difference between a list and a tuple, and contrasting the exact scale of delete versus drop. Inside the hall, your physical presentation matters. Maintain rigorous indentation in your Python code. Tackle the easiest questions first to build momentum, and strictly limit your 1-mark answers to a single, precise sentence. By focusing your energy entirely on these predictable patterns and executing them with clean, exact answers, you walk into the exam knowing exactly what the examiners are going to ask and how to answer it.